I even be here?
Yeah.
All right.
And we're just waiting for it. And there we are. We are live. Hi, everybody. It's me, Teverz. Tantrum's over there. And we are special guest star, the one and only wonderful, beautiful lady, Blue. And we have some things that we want to talk to you about. But I'm going to hand that ball over to my fellow dude beside me here. Tantrum, it's all yours.
Oh, yeah. Well, now, I'm going to get some background here first. Blue, our guest this evening from Noobs and Nerds team, has not watched a certain video, which is kind of the topic of tonight's discussion. And she's not going to because, well, she don't need to. She can answer the questions.
Yep.
And I got a feeling they're going to be pleasant answers. I'll just leave it at that. Reason for tonight's impromptu live session is kind of sparked from a video I did earlier on my channel, and it's in response to a certain YouTuber, Mitch over at Mitch's Place, that decided, he's tired of the drama. He don't like the drama, so he releases a drama video, basically calling out NaN. Saying that they're power hungry, they're on an ego trip, and they're trying to be the next TV add-ons. And I sit back. If anybody followed the deal between Carnage and me, I kind of sit back in the shadows and let people be idiots, and don't really feed them. And you go after my friends, and Blammo can defend himself. He's great at it. I mean, I love watching him do it. But when a YouTuber does it, that's taking it even farther. Especially someone who's got 30,000 subscribers and is a complete idiot. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. It's just my personal opinion. But when you say that NaN Scrapers is a replacement for URL Resolver when it doesn't resolve the links.
They're two different things.
Exactly. You don't rate too high for me. And then when you say Solus is Carnage, that puts you even lower because they're completely different people. That was kind of the purpose of my rant earlier, where he was calling them out, and it ticked me off. I made the video 18 plus, part because of the language, and even though I didn't get real bad on it, but also in part, when you flag something 18 plus on YouTube, that shuts down monetization on it, so, and that wasn't the point of the video, to get hits. And if you don't believe me, I can show it. So can Teverz. As soon as you activate that 18 plus flag, it disables that ability. So that being said, Blue, why are you being power hungry?
No pressure. I didn't watch his video. I kind of heard little tidbits of it. I can't be bothered to watch his crap because it seems like every time he opens his mouth, it's ridiculous. And I got more important things to do. NaN being power hungry. It's really funny. We're a bunch of volunteers. There's no one head of NaN. Just a bunch of people making add-ons in their free time for free and providing forums to people and answering questions and helping with add-ons and not asking for your clicks like TVA does. So power hungry. Well, I just think that's ridiculous.
And he ties in.
Stupid.
Well, yeah, and he ties in the Gen template, and your all's work with that on that. And I know we covered it in our live videos.
Well, you guys know what Gen is. Gen was done because Mid was tired of people using the old simple Corey base. And it was like there was too many people that didn't understand it or didn't know how to use it. And he thought, you know what, if I give them a nice solid base to work with, then yeah, it's so simple to use that anybody can use it. But his hope was that then people having their own add-ons, they would look at the code and they would learn to add plugins and then they would become developers that way. Oh, I mean, yeah, that's horrible that he offered a free add-on that anybody could use, and so people can't yell at each other and say, "You forked my add-on. Anybody can have one." Yeah, I think that's just horrible. It's very selfish of him and very power hungry.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, it's such an ego trip.
Yeah, isn't it though?
Making something like that for everybody.
Yeah, the guy's an idiot.
Yep, yep. And I guess I'll be next because I got that YouTube system that I did where you can have the remote files for doing your own YouTube add-on, and did videos on that. And Butcher will probably be singled out too because he did the same thing, with his build videos and all.
Yeah, I don't. What's the matter with this guy? Like, honestly, what's the matter with him?
I don't know, because I know with you all it started out pointing out, they're breaking real to grid with this NaN scraper
which isn't true at all. Yeah, so that's
yeah,
a big pile of crap.
And then went from there. It started comparing it to URL Resolver when they're completely different beasts. I mean, basically, one looks for links, the other converts the links into something playable.
Yeah, they work in conjunction with each other. You can't replace one with the other. URL Resolver doesn't work without having an actual link to play.
Yep, whether it's from a scraper or something that, a direct link that you already have.
Yeah, it's like he obviously just doesn't understand what they are. I mean, I think we've explained it about 80 times to people too.
Yep.
But they still don't.
That's what kills me too, because he's got 30,000 subscribers, and they're eating it up. That you all are the bad guys. And
I don't even know where that started from, because we're not even really that vocal out there.
That's what it is.
I mean, we make stuff and we give it out to people. Here you go, have fun.
I know the history of both of you, and I want to be honest with you. This is my opinion on the whole thing. I mean, we saw how power-hungry TVA became, how they wanted to be the center of everything. They wanted everybody dependent on them. I have never seen the NaN team ever do that. All I've ever seen from the NaN team is you guys supporting people to become their own. All these people that are using this Gen template and building their stuff, they're not putting it into your portal or anything. They're putting it in their own repos, putting it out there for people to share it on their own.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're making it for personal use, because you know how it is. Add-ons are up and down all the time. Wouldn't it be nice to have an add-on that you know isn't going to die because it's yours?
Exactly.
Which
That's
is
why
what builds.
Like, I have one, but it's not going public. Like, it's a private one for me. So I might put out one later on, but right now I'm quite happy to just have, and it's the one I use all the time, because it gives you the capability of using Tract and TMDB to pull whole lists. So essentially it's like like an Exodus, but I can also personalize and make my own lists so that I have fun sections of quirky movies as well. So it's a combination of the two, and it's perfect for me because I pick what's in it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. And it's just like the people that learn to do their own builds.
Yeah.
The wizards that are out there, Aftermath. All right. That's exactly why Aftermath was born. That's exactly why the Cody DIY, however you want to pronounce it. That's why that group came up with their wizard.
Well, like Aftermath is Surface, and he's part of NaN. And once again, offered a free thingy out to every free template for anybody to use to make a wizard. Because I remember back in the day, people were charging $300 to make you a wizard.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a bunch of people that are helping out is the thing, and they're not trying to band together for money or anything else. And it's just like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Blue. I'm trying to remember past conversations, and I do good to remember what I ate yesterday for breakfast times. But back when the talks about a NaN resolver had gone around, he didn't want NaN specifically to do one, but rather wanted a collaborative project that multiple teams worked on.
I'd be okay. I'm pretty sure we're all would be fine with that, although I don't trust him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my issue, is him.
Yeah. And I mean, a collaborative effort would probably, if anybody's going to do something with replacing Jay's work or coming out with a newer version that works a little bit different, like NaN scrapers did with their scraper. They came out with something different for people to use.
Yeah, because we had to.
Yeah, I mean, if someone was to do that, I mean, at this point, I don't think there's anyone in the developer community that could step up like Jay did with it, because he did phenomenal work with it.
Yep, he did.
And was doing releases like all the time.
Yeah, he was constantly cleaning it.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if he had other things that he maintained or not.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah.
If you have
he helped in a lot of places.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a lot of things that require constant updating, like URL Resolver does, it wouldn't work for one person, which is why it would have to be a collaborative get together.
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially because, like, I mean, back when Lambda had his originally, I think he was the only one that maintained it back in the day. But then Kodi got so huge, like, they didn't break as often. Now they break a lot more often. Well, you know all about that.
Yeah.
So you're constantly on them. Every day there's stuff to fix. So it does become where you need more than one person, because you can't be sitting at your computer all day long fixing stuff and pushing stuff. You need other people to
pausing you guys.
The thing that's funny about NaN scrapers is it's NaN, but it's not NaN. It's a collaboration of people. It started out as NaN because nobody else, because first of all we had to, and then it became where we asked a million different people. Like, we've had MK, we've had all kinds of people come in and say, I'm interested in learning how to do scrapers. So right now there's a team of, I think, about 5 that work on them, but there's probably a team of like 30 in the background who are learning and who are, you know, they'll get as far as they can in the scraper, and then they'll pass it up the line, and then, you know, somebody will tweak it, and then it's good to go. So it's not just NaN. It's NaN's the core, but it's anybody's allowed to come and help.
Just pausing you guys.
I've seen it firsthand myself. I mean, sitting in one of the scraper channels, and have answered questions for the guys in there learning them that aren't a part of NaN that was needing help with.
Yeah.
I mean, submit to you guys.
Pausing you guys for a second. Welcome, Griff, to the show.
He's muted. Oh no!
I think he muted himself. Yeah, so it's like, is NaN trying to take over the world? No. Does NaN want the spotlight? Hell no. We just seem to be the only ones still around when TVA went tits up, and then Zunity went tits up, and it was like all of a sudden it was just us. So we've been scrambling to try to keep things together, and luckily there's groups like you guys who are doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to the majority of the groups out there, the majority of the teams out there now, than what people realize, as far as, there's hundreds, if not more, to be honest. I mean, if you want to boil down to it, especially when you look at ones that do add-ons for overseas, for their own country.
Yeah, and like, I mean, we're not trying to grab everybody up. Like, TVA is famous for saying TVA is sketchy. Well, you're sketchy until he recruits you, and then all of a sudden that exact same add-on that you had outside of TVA is a good add-on. You know what I mean? That's what he does. Oh no, they're sketchy, and then a little while later, next thing you know, they're part of TVA, but now that add-on's okay. It didn't change any code, and the developer's still the same developer, but somehow, just because it's under the TVA banner, it's okay now. Just a pile of crap.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember them from way back when I just played with Kodi myself, as far as an end user, and seeing them just blasted everywhere, and seeing the stuff back then. And
yeah, they're still the same today. They're still bashing anybody who isn't them. Whereas, for example, we have a great friendship with you guys, and we're 2 completely separate entities. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And between Blamo and me, we've got, let's see, 7, 10 add-ons or so between the 2 of us, and we do have one that uses NaN scrapers, but outside of that, the only affiliation between us is that we're all friends in the developer community.
Yeah, and like, there's no jealousy, there's no weirdness. It's just, you guys are doing your thing, we're doing our thing, And if we can share knowledge of some sort, we do. We don't hoard it and say you got to become part of NaN or else we won't teach you. No, it's not like that with us. The thing is, there's no head of NaN. None of us own the website. We're all just people who took an interest and kind of came together and were willing to answer questions on the forum. And that's what NaN is. NaN isn't a money-making, we don't own it. None of us.
You all are a community of people that help.
Yeah, like you know how that happens sometimes. You know, back in the day when I first started out, I started out by helping with support in Kodi, just because I knew the answers to some questions, you know, and about a specific box back in the day that had OpenELEC on it, and I knew stuff. So they said, "Well, do you want to come help?" And I'm like, "Sure." And so I helped, but I wasn't that group. Do you know what I mean? I was just helping that group. It's the same thing with NaN. We all just help, but yeah, NaN is not us.
Yeah, and it's like blame on me. We had, I guess they first met when we were both in Looking Glass at the same time, and he's the one that really got me interested in learning about scrapers.
Yeah,
and because of death streams, which is still a nightmare to me. But yeah, of course, then that whole drama with Grace and everything else there, pushing him out. I ended up, we still talk. We were still good, and we got along. There wasn't anything between us, and just kept talking. And then one day, Team Afterbirth was born, just because we decided to crack a joke.
Yeah.
And kind of went from there. And we're not really a team, but we still work together. It's to help people out. I mean, whether it's people joining our chat and asking questions, or with the add-ons that we do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I've had a few people here over the past week even ask me about some of the scrapers for the Covenant Fort, since Placenta is a Covenant Fort. And I've answered them and sent them ones that I hadn't released, just because there wasn't too many great things on the site. It usually will pull one or two links, and it wasn't a specialty site like Black and White Movies is.
Yeah.
And and walked them through it so that they could learn. And
I was gonna say, like, when it comes to, like, I mean, basically you guys are maintaining like a Covenant scraper and a Salt scraper, right?
Yep. And
is that just you doing all that?
I concentrate mainly on Placenta, then of course my add-ons, and then Blamo concentrates primarily on death streams, and then we both kind of tag team Neptune Rising as we see things in it, unless he's got lists he wants to update, change out, things like that.
But it's just the two of you, maintaining all those scrapers.
Yeah, it's just him and me. I mean, we don't have anybody else really that works with us.
Meanwhile, I wonder how many people are using those scrapers.
Well, millions.
If you.
Like, I don't just mean in your add-ons, but I mean other add-ons that are using your scraper.
Yeah, we've seen them pop up. He's seen them, I've seen them, and that's why before I joked about, let's just do an Afterbirth scraper.
It's almost like you feel like you want to, right? Like,
yeah, in one sense I do, but the other sense I'm like, they're going to steal it regardless, so screw them. Make them put in an effort.
Well, wouldn't it be nice though? Like, for example, if those people collaborated with you to help.
Oh yeah, it would be, but I just don't see it happening, because the egos would still be there on who's doing what. And...
Oh God! But the thing is, though, you can't have an ego when your add-on works solely on somebody else's work. I'm sorry,
but some people still do.
you guys are awesomely and continuing on, but we still haven't let Griff had a chance to express himself in here.
I didn't want to interrupt. Glue was in full flow there.
Oh yeah, it sounded really gross, by the way. Full flow.
Okay.
So, Griff,
what do you think of the whole situation?
I'm just kind of perplexed, because this guy just doesn't know what he's talking about. He really hasn't. He has no clue. Unless he's in some other groups that we don't know about, and there's people in there pretending to be NaN or Jen or whoever, because that's not what goes on in those groups. There's There's no big master plan. And his video, he's talking about NaN and URL Resolver as if they're two different, as if they're one and the same thing, sorry, and they're totally different. I mean, NaN scrapers rely on URL Resolver. He doesn't seem to understand that.
No, he doesn't. You know what? He should come in Jen, and I'll show him a few things.
Well, this is the thing. Like, him and I have had some debates over the last couple of weeks about different subjects, and at first, I'm gonna be honest, I used to follow him, and I thought he was something, you know, like in the day, but I'm beginning to honestly think more and more that, you know, he doesn't do his due diligence. He doesn't actually research, like, to find the honest answers. And every time he keeps putting out videos like he did, like with this one, it just verifies he doesn't know the truth out there. And that's what bugs me, because he's telling those 30,000 people and more that this is the way life is. And that's what pisses me off about reviewers. Like, be honest, be true, and find the due diligence and give the truth.
Well, the sad thing...
Sorry, even apart from that, I keep coming back to this video today that he doesn't understand how URL Resolver and scrapers work. The whole other bit about egos and sort of drama and creating that's fine, and that's what YouTubers do because that gets them clicks. But this comes back to a fundamental thing that he doesn't understand how Python and coding, he just doesn't understand how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And how can you sit there and with a straight face know the difference between URL Resolver and any scraper and say that they're the same thing, or that one's trying to overtake the other, someone's trying to replace one with the other, when they're it's like trying to say placenta is trying to replace an IPTV add-on. All right. Yeah. One's replay, the other one's live TV. Completely different beasts.
Yeah.
I think one of the problems is nowadays things are so easy for everybody. They don't realize that I'm going to do a back in the day speech, Griff. You're going to love this.
Go for
back in the day, and we used to get direct links. Like, you literally had to go to a scraper site, and then that scraper site showed you the links, which would then take you to the links that get resolved through the resolver, basically. You know, the up to the like, you know, all those ones, like all the actual resolvers,
the hosting site.
Yeah,
like back in the day though, like that's where you went. You had to go, like Ice Films was a perfect example because that would take you directly to them.
Yep.
So it's like, you knew that there's a difference between what you're finding on this site is just the link to those separate sites, and the resolver makes those links playable. Now, yeah, TVA having the URL resolver, great, whatever, have fun with it. We do need it. We do need TVA's URL resolver to play anything in our add-on. Our add-on scrapes the links from a site, and then URL resolver plays the links. But is TVA the end-all be-all? No. We could fork it tomorrow. We've actually started our own, but we're thinking, you know what? What's the point? They have it. If they're letting us use it, great. We'll keep using it.
I mean, everybody calls it TVA's URL resolver, but they didn't code it. I mean, developers coded it that were under the TVA umbrella. And
yeah, it wasn't Adam that did it. It was, I don't even who did it in the beginning. Was it TK or was it?
I thought it was El Dorado.
You know what? I think you're exactly right. I think it was El Dorado, but it was like, whatever. They can have that. Have it. Have fun.
Yep. I do have to say one good thing about, God, I'm getting shivers even thinking about saying this. I do have one good thing to say about TVA. They have made it its own separate repo so that people can include it as a link in their repos to help for people that don't want to link to TVA.
Yeah, you could grab the script. It's true. Like, I did notice that, and that was good. I agree with that too. I just okay, I don't like TVA. I don't like TVA. It's not that I don't like TVA. I liked a lot of the developers that were at TVA. There were a lot of really good people there. There's just the one issue I have, and that's the guy that's in it for the money.
I made
the rest of them were in it for the same reasons we are.
I made it. I had a talk with a couple of the developers from the past in the last week, and they all made a valid point to me. When we talk about TVA, let's not talk about those developers, because truthfully, all TVA is Adam. That's it.
Yeah, it's true.
So
he's the man behind the website that has the servers.
Yeah. So I just want other people out there that hear that, guys. When we talk about TVA, we are talking about Adam, not all the developers that were, have been in and out of the teams. Got it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because there's been some really, really great guys that's been on the team that weren't.
Oh God, yeah. Over the years, there's some really great coders in there.
Yeah, and it's just the main at the top that creates that whole bad environment.
Well, you know what? You got to admit, he's really smart. He's really good at recruiting good people. It's just it's hard for him to keep them.
Yeah, and it's because of the way he does things.
Yeah, yeah.
And
so,
I mean,
yeah, no, I never had any issues with anybody there but him. Like, I loved Lambda. I got along great with Lambda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's I've talked to a few of them that have been under the TVA umbrella and everything else, and I may only be part of the community since like between August and October, getting more and more into it after certain builds, but I've talked to different ones that have approached me after seeing some of my work and some of the add-on work I've done. And I don't mean the end result, what the end user sees, that they would open it up and look at the code.
Yeah.
And then they would reach out to me.
Yeah.
And one of them was just kind of blew me over the top, just because, I'd known him from before when I was an end user and everything, as far as seeing the name a lot.
Yeah.
It was always associated with top-notch work. It's the only way to put it. And
so him contacting you was huge.
Yeah, he reached out to,
That's cute.
Reached out to me and everything. He just wanted to give me, props on it, say hi and everything. Said that he liked what I was doing with something.
That's awesome.
That just kind of blew me out of the water. And he was at one time, if I'm not mistaken, with them or did collaborative work at any rate with some of them. And that just tells you, it's not everybody that's a part of it.
No.
And it's not even a group of people. It's really just 1 to 2 people, and that's it.
That's one.
Yeah, and you put yourself in the position of those developers. Someone's offering you free servers, a website, an outlet for your work, and you don't have to worry about all that kind of nonsense. Someone does all that for you. What are you going to say? You're just going to say yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like GitHub in a sense.
Yeah.
All right, different machine, but the same type of sense. GitHub gives you a free place to share collaborative work and everything, get it out there, and so it's kind of the same thing. You're going to say yes to that. I mean, look at the insane amount of users just overall with GitHub, from all walks of life,
exactly,
from all walks of code. So,
but. Well, there's a quick question here, and I couldn't figure out the answer. Wasn't NaN previously total XBMC?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, Roger.
Back in the day. I wasn't around then. I think Dabs might have been back then. And Diesel, probably. As far as I know it, XBMC Hub used to be basically a guy from NaN, Mike from Zunity, and Adam. It was the 3 of them, and then I guess there were issues in amongst that group, and it splintered off. I guess they all had different goals.
Yeah, different views. It happens.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was, I think, the issue where, remember when Indigo came out and it was deleting Mikey's maintenance tool? Do you guys remember that?
Yep.
And then TVA was saying, well, that was our add-on. And technically, it was made under the XBMC Hub name, but it was made by Mikey. So when he left, he took it with him because it was his add-on. Yep. So then when Indigo was deleting it, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, well, it was TVA's add-on." Technically, no, it wasn't. It's like saying to Lambda, "No, you can't leave and take Exodus because you made it here. It's ours." No, it's not. It's his. That'd be like somebody saying to you guys, you can't take Placenta with you. Yeah, I can. I made it.
Yeah, it's not like you're getting employed and there's an intellectual property clause in your contract.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So I mean, and Mikey had that for what, 4 or 5 years in Zunity, and all of a sudden it's a TBA add-on. Pardon?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember when that happened and everything back when I was an end user, and I'm like, what the hell's this? Where'd this come from? And
people were like, it just deleted that right off my machine, and it's like, oh, okay, well that's not good.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's
Don't you tell me what I can have on my box.
Yeah,
and that just sounded gross again.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, did you read what Roger said? So, Total XBMC was sold to Chinese owners as reported. Do they still own NaN?
Yeah, it was. As far as I know. Todd would know better.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for him, though.
Oh, he's here?
Oh, no. Well, we sent him a link.
I'm here.
Oh, he is.
Oh, there he is.
Yay!
Yeah, he would know better. He was around back there.
Talking and shit's not working.
Oh, there you go. We heard you.
It does. It was sold.
Yeah.
Lee got nervous and wanted to get his name off of it. And actually, somebody else owns the website now, so.
Yeah. And it's none of us.
Yeah, it's none of us. Again, back to don't want your name on it.
Yeah.
It's people or a person that really can't be prosecuted. Or
it's not our place to say who owns it now,
right.
But it's none of us at NaN.
Nope. Yeah, Lee did own that, which it was a shock.
You mean when he sold it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to end up in the same position as Adam.
Yes, as Adam. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can't say same position because Adam, he was at risk of losing his boat.
Yeah, the poor thing.
Yeah,
but
it's awful. It's really an emotional time when you lose your boat. So.
Oh, yeah.
We're not live, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Live.
So
I don't even. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing some live bitching tonight. Just saying.
I don't even see your live stream on here.
That's
why I didn't think we were live. So.
Oh, I didn't send you the link to the live too. I'm sorry. Let me send that to you.
Hold on. Well, see, I'm looking at Muardid's. Oh shit! I'm looking at.
You're looking at the wrong channel.
I was looking at the wrong channel, so I'm like, oh, we're not live yet, so it's all cool.
Yeah, well,
Try everything I said.
Well, it's true. Like, I mean, it's not.
Yes, it's true. It
was the Chinese that owned it, and now it's somebody else.
Somebody else.
And Todd, the question earlier was that Mitch says that TVA is looking to take over the world. Or sorry,
that NaN is.
That NaN is.
No.
Did you get a chance to watch Mitch's video?
No.
No, don't blame you.
I have my pop-up blocker, so I don't really anybody's videos I watch. They don't get a click, even my own. But no, I'm not even wasting my time. I'd really he's and this is I'm being very nice about this. He's ignorant of what's going on. And he doesn't care to really learn what's going on, and he's not willing to talk to the people to really know what's going on. So he's very ignorant of the things that are happening in Cody, and he gets a little bit of information from whoever, and he runs with it. And that's what bothers me. I mean, if you want to know something, do some investigating, do some fact finding, get some different people to collaborate that same information, and then say, you know what, through several sources I found or was told this, instead of the assumptions. And to go back to Solus, the thing about Carnage and Solus, that's a joke and a half. I mean, I know Solus, and so I've talked to, Blue and how many times I've been on so many hangouts with Solus for hours and hours and hours. I know Solus. I mean, No, that's not Solus. Solus is not doing jack shit in code.
You know what I think pisses me off the most about that right now, Todd, is the fact that Solus has a horrible family situation going on right now.
True.
Yep.
True.
And the last thing in the world he needs is this bullshit about him out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like-
exactly.
But it's just
Horrible.
a little bit of information again. He got a little bit of information from somebody, from whatever he got the information from, or whoever he got it from. It doesn't really matter. But then ran with it.
You want to know who his real source is?
Okay, who's the sources?
Alan Coleman. I know you guys are laughing, but he honestly admitted that in one of his chats with me on one of his YouTube, that Alan Coleman was an important source for him.
Alan
my
Coleman.
God.
Where do I know that name?
Carnage.
Oh, we've seen him everywhere.
He's a dick.
That's Carnage?
Well, we think he's Carnage because the similarities.
Well, all right, so I've never dealt with Carnage on one-on-one. Now, isn't he still, wasn't he Mr. Unknown or?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was the guy that stole everybody's playlists and put them all in one big add-on? Wasn't it the same guy last year?
Was that the same guy that was on DVD King's show that one night?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he snatched everybody's list and put them all in one thing, and he says, "You can't stop me." And wasn't that when the devs went on strike and they had their
Yeah,
you
UK
know,
started that one.
yeah. So everybody was on strike and we were going to show
video
Unity
editor.
and all that. Which
We didn't go on strike though.
no, it's like this is. But
Well,
yeah,
no offense, but I mean that's just giving him more attention.
Right.
Why would you use somebody's add-on that's piggybacking your list and that they have to update them and stuff when you could just use the real add-on?
And most people will
And
get
look-
bored. And
Well,
they-
look what happened. He went away again.
He got bored and he moved on. So
Yeah.
okay, so you're still talking the same guy, the same little stuff. So if you again look at people's history, and people's past history is going to tell you what they're going to do in the future.
I know,
And-
but this Coleman guy, he's like the fucking Alex Jones of Cody. Like,
And I don't even see. I don't even. But really,
it's like saying Fox News is your source.
Fox News called the election correct at the beginning, so I can't knock them too much. But
I
yeah,
can.
yeah, you can.
Oh,
You're on the other side of the pond. But yeah,
Yes, stupid.
kill me.
Well, the thing that's stupid about this is everybody that's out there that he's insulting is accessible. Come talk to us.
Oh yeah.
You want to know the story behind it? Come talk to us. We'll tell you all about it.
Yep. And by the way, Blue, your YouTube channel is now in the rotation for all the links that are on my descriptions. So I'm gonna start sending people your way. By the way.
Oh God, don't bother.
Well,
It's okay.
I'm adding you on mine too.
Oh my
You-
God.
You need to go on a Thursday night. That's when she gets a shower.
Sham cam, yeah.
There you
Cam on a
go.
Thursday. No, Todd, if you haven't seen this guy's video, he basically says there's two competing technologies: NaN scrapers and URL Resolver.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're two. First of all, technologies number one. That's funny, and then competing. Wait a minute. Oh wait.
Yeah.
I thought NaN scrapers used URL.
Correct.
Yeah.
See, he knows more than I know. We need to get him on the team because obviously, hey, Blue, remember that guy on Facebook that argued with us on my in one of my threads, and he argued with me about how the scrapers were blocking, and he was taking the Mitch stance that it was blocking it, and he kept telling us that how scrapers worked in the URL Resolver, and he told us how that worked, and he went on, and I said we were proving him wrong, and I can't remember how many different things we proved him wrong with, and I said, you seem to know so much. We're an open group. You can join us, and your knowledge is so much better than ours. It would be great to have you in there, and maybe worse, because he said, it had to do with that we wouldn't allow RD, and it said false. Remember in the scraper, it would say false.
Yeah, he doesn't understand how they work.
RD. So in the scraper, it said false for RD, and he says, so obviously you're blocking it. And I said, well, no, the scrapers, almost all the scrapers say false, but then
They all do, yes.
people in
And
the
further down, there's code that basically says if you find this in the link, specific words, then RD is now true. That's the way code works.
And yeah, and he says, well, he says, I know a little bit of code, and I know that's not right. And
I know a little bit of code.
Why, I can tell you that's why you're not getting any RD links. And I was like, well,
so the fact that the false, and I'm just taking a stab in the dark here, the fact that he's saying the debrid false variable, let me guess, it's the one that says debrid only.
I don't know. It was near the top. It was just like he pulled it out, and it was like near the top of some of the scrapers where it says.
Oh, if it's near the top, it's the one. I'm willing to bet it's the one that says if debrid is false, throw an exception.
Right.
Yeah, and then further down, if it's an actual debrid scraper, then it turns it back to true. I mean, we all know that it works because we all get RD in our friggin' add-ons that use NaN scrapers.
Yeah,
so, exactly.
But it was funny. I asked him to join the group, but he didn't, and he's argued with me a couple. He's argued with me a couple other times, and it's funny that certain people would argue with me, and then like when Blue jumped in, and she started defending it, and then he stopped kind of arguing. He's like, "Well, I'm just trying to learn," and I said, "I don't think you're trying to learn. It seems like you're trying to argue."
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I'll be honest. I think a lot of this is down to cutbacks and social care. I really think these people used to have a social worker or a carer who would, and now they're just allowed to sit in the house.
I mean, just
get access to the internet, and they get a webcam, and I mean,
I'm pretty sure that Todd has, if I'm not mistaken, Todd, it was this Mitch guy that you basically tried to explain things to at some point, right?
Yeah, Mitch, I actually explained it in his first video where he said NaN was killing RD, and I went through 6 points or something of that nature, and explained it very politely. I wasn't hateful. I wasn't belittling him or putting him down. I just explained why in his video he was incorrect on numerous things, and I said this isn't correct and this is why. This isn't correct and this is why. And he ignored all things that I said. Never mentioned it or said, hey, thanks for showing me, or hey, I'll look into that. Nothing. And then I did the video and did the video.
So he knows better. He's just
right. I did the video.
I
did the video, and then he did a video a couple days later and says, oh, a NaN developer informed me about this bug where sometimes you don't see all the links. So you back up and go back in, which we've said is there, and it's there, and we're not sure why. Maybe it's one of the scrapers is kind of hanging, and that's why you don't see everything displayed. And it still goes in the cache. The full list is in the cache so it finishes scraping, but the display catches. But when you go back and come back, you go out and come back in, instantly you get the full list. So the full list is cached on your device.
Yeah. There's a bug, but it's not blocking RD.
No,
and you don't know what you're fucking talking about, or you don't know what you're talking about.
I'll be honest. I know you said you explained it to him, Todd, but it was probably like kind of showing a Labrador a card trick. It was,
yeah, probably.
There wasn't really much point to it.
See, the fact that you tried to correct him and you gave him that information, now I know why he thinks you're trying to take over Cody World.
I don't want Cody World. It's too much issues. Plus, I don't have liability insurance.
I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but in Cody doesn't mind other people pointing out issues and possible fixes. If anything, they're like, "Oh man, thank you. That's been bugging me for like months." Or you don't get all, "Oh well, I knew that," or you know what I mean. All the good devs accept criticism and stuff. All the ones that aren't real devs, in my opinion, are the ones that get pissy.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll be honest. Look, Jen is only where it is today because I kept breaking it.
That's actually true. And I would send
it to Mid, and I'm going, oh shit, he's really going to ignore me this time. And he's like, no, thanks, right, I'll fix that. And you're like, yeah, but I keep breaking it, and I feel like kind of bad because it's your code. And he's like, no, I want to fix it. And you're like, right, okay. And yeah, I mean, he would bring out a new 2 or 3 versions every day, and I would keep breaking it for him.
I mean, the reason the add-ons get updated is because crap breaks. Or, I mean, if you have a small test group, you don't have every device out there, and you don't have every, version of Kodi, and you don't have like there's so many different variables out there. Android versus PC versus OpenELEC versus 16.1 versus 17.6 versus 18. You know what I mean?
Yep,
you get all these different and all these different devices, and it's like, yeah, stuff might work on this one and not work on that one, and there's constant fixes that need to be done.
I'll be honest, Android is kind of like the sort of episode 1 to 3 of Star Wars. I kind of ignore them and hope it isn't really there.
I don't use it.
I have a quick question for you. If we took Blue's voice and added Griff's accent, wouldn't that be the sexiest?
No, it took a long time. It took a long time before I could understand Griff. He would. It took a couple months before I could follow him. I mean, it's.
I don't know. Todd said something there, but I have no idea what he said.
I remember a long time ago. Hey, Griff, you kept trying to get on Todd's show, and he's like, "I'd have him on, but I honestly don't understand a word he says."
Yeah, because he'll be on there swearing at me, and I won't know what he's actually saying.
Well, it was back. No, honestly, back when it was you and Slim. I couldn't. I wasn't sure. Slim was even worse. Slim was like, I'm like, what did he just say? I need subtitles, something. Yeah.
That was a great Scottish imitation there, Daps.
You're welcome.
You're Canadian.
So this, I just want to say one thing. Like, okay, so I'm not part of the NaN team, and I'm kind of an outsider. I can do my own little thingies, and I'm really not part of any team, although I support everybody. But I wanted to just see the difference from what I've seen, like being as an outsider, NaN versus TVA. You guys on the NaN team have always been helpful for everybody around, but you are also a bunch of fun people to hang around, as you can tell from this show, right? You guys are not uptight.
Always the same.
Yeah, you guys are fun. It's not about being a dictatorship or a leadership, and that's what I enjoy about you guys.
No. The only time I get angry is when I'm helping people. And they're just keep breaking the stuff I keep fixing. And it's like, stop it.
Especially
That's it for me.
Or Trademark asks, or if Trademark asks you the same question 4 times in a row.
Oh my God, I booted him twice out of that group.
I've done it twice.
Leave him alone.
I've done it twice.
Yeah.
The only other thing, Blue, is when you're trying to help people and there's this asshole posting gifs all the time in the group.
Oh my God, yeah, Griff. It's Griff doing it.
Well, I'll say this, Teverz. I joined NaN before it was NaN, back when it was Total XBMC. Total XBMC days, back when we were builders and you had all the builds, and like I said, with Gandalf and Silent Rom, and I remember Chris B starting. I remember Chris B and this beast. I remember before he created the beast. So we were in that group, and I remember being a little starstruck with Gandalf because he had a build that had an intro, and I was like, I had never seen anybody else that had a build at an intro. And I was a little starstruck to be in a chat with him, and he was just as helpful as he could be. I got to be friends with ARB. Him and I started. He was there a little bit earlier before me, and it was about helping each other. And Lee was always about, this is open source. We're here to help. We're not here to hide nothing. We're here to help each other, and we're here to whatever I learn that I can teach you, so that you can teach someone else. And that was the mindset that I came into it, and really that's been steady. That's where we've stayed at. And then different people have come along. I remember when Q joined and Mid, which I'll say I brought both of them into NaN. They came in and they were of the exact same mindset of, you know what? This isn't about us telling the user what they can and can't do. It's about giving the user an options. And that's where, if you go back to Metallic being an add-on that a lot of TVA guys hated. If anybody remembers, TVA blocked it. They put block code in it so that you could not use it. You couldn't use Metallic with Exodus or Salts or what was that one?
Because they didn't understand how it worked.
Right. In all fairness, in the very beginning, with his very first release, it did do a scrape, and it would have all the add-on scraping. But as soon as someone pointed that out, Q changed it, and he said it basically made it to where it just created a shortcut to those add-ons. A person could add a library. Person could
yeah, you then chose one specific add-on to find links. It just let you know which ones had it. It didn't search the add-ons.
No, right. And that's why I said he changed it. And
yeah.
It was about giving the user choice. And the TVA guys hated that, and they said it isn't about giving them the choice, and it's about what we want them to have. And
yeah, exactly.
That is completely opposite of the mindset that we had. And it's not a matter of which is right or wrong. I mean, you can have a mindset that a developer can tell people what they can and can't do with their add-on, or you can say, you know what, here's an add-on, and if you want to do whatever you want with it, then do it. That's just two different mindsets. In TVA had one mindset, we had another. Not to say one's right, one's wrong. I just know what works for me.
Ours was right, though.
But you know, we've always been about, hey, this is what we're trying to do. We're about teaching.
You know, remember back in the day too, when people were fighting on Twitter, and it was so bad and so stupid. And I remember I'd say to Mid, "Oh God, so and so's bugging me." He's like, you know, he just has a different point of view. Or you would say that to me, Todd. Mm-hmm. He just has a different point of view than you did. Doesn't make him a bad person. And it was like, I'd sit back and think about it and go, you know what? You're right. Like, we had issues with Evolve until we all got together and started talking, and then we didn't have it.
Those were actually true.
Once we got to know each other personally, we're all the same. We're all doing it for the same reasons. We're volunteering our time. Like this weekend, I'm off on weekends. I might have had 2 hours to myself this weekend. The rest of the time, I was helping people.
What did you do in those 2 hours?
Nothing.
Oh,
I watched Angel.
That's disappointing.
Monkey spank.
I'm not telling you what I did. I watched TV. Okay.
I know what you did.
A-Train's add-on.
Listen to you.
Yeah, I got heavily abused at the weekend by Blue.
Well, like, I mean, us three have known each other quite a while now, and we've just met you guys. Honestly, in the last month or two.
Yep.
And you already feel like home.
Yeah, well, that's because we're kind of cracked in the head too, so you know.
Yeah, you guys are funny. You're down to earth. You know, you're just really nice, and I'm glad we met you.
We provide endless entertainment.
Speak to yourself, there, Modeep. I'm a pervert. I'm proud to be a pervert.
Yeah,
Well, to me, I always look at giving everybody a chance, and sometimes I'll give people a couple chances because maybe I just don't understand where they're coming from. And I have to step back and look at it.
You're definitely more patient
sometimes you don't. Yeah, sometimes you don't even understand what they're saying, Todd.
I know, but I still sit back and wait. Maybe it'll it'll grow on me, and they do.
And by the way, Griff, we had a request in chat for you. I guess somebody wants to hear you say there can be only one.
There can be only one.
There you go. Somebody's happy now.
Oh my, Highlander.
Yep.
Yeah, but you had a Scots actor playing a Frenchman and a Frenchman playing a Scotsman.
Yeah, that was actually pretty funny.
Yeah. Strange.
Hey, I do have...
But I think it's because of the soundtrack.
Can I bitch about one thing, though?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just one?
I got one bitch. And that's because I spent my time yesterday making videos about Jen's library.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
And it's all for naught. Metallic players and library function, it was for naught. And my feelings were hurt.
But you get over it.
Hurt, crushed. But at least I know how to manipulate the system now.
Oh, yeah. You just got to go make a video and then Mid'll make it.
Yeah, show how hard something can be, and Mid says, "Wow, I can automate that." I've been asking for that shit for 2 months.
No, what you do with a developer, Todd, is you tell them it's impossible and it can't be done.
Oh, yeah,
that's funny.
Oh yeah, well, and that's my view on everything. Whenever I'm working on something, whether it's for Windows or heck even Kodi here lately, my motto is it's only impossible until I do it.
Yeah. You know what? You sound exactly like Mid.
Well, I've always taken that point of view with a lot of stuff. I mean, I've at 8 years old, I had an uncle that handed me a book on the TI 99 4A on basic programming, and went from there, went to Pascal, Turbo Pascal, C, Turbo C, C++, and all the way up the chain. And so I've just kind of learned, through the years, it is only impossible until you do it. You just have to be able to think.
And I mean, I think it's the same mindset for all you guys. It's almost like it's the puzzle part of it. It's the solving it. That's the exciting part. And then as soon as you're done it, yeah, you're excited that you made that thing work. But now you're on to the next little puzzle. It's like never ending.
Yeah, exactly. There was certain things that was told to me by some Microsoft engineers on one of their sites, and there's like, no, that can't be done. There's nothing that can implement that. Blah blah blah. And because I was looking for something to do for work in a way that could be managed without having to code by management, and I took that as a direct challenge. Next thing you know, about 2 weeks later, I've got code that does exactly what they said couldn't be done.
Awesome.
And, they turned around, and I've interviewed with Microsoft probably 3 times now, and they keep interviewing me for stuff I have zero experience with.
That's because they want you to break the rules.
And evidently, but I mean, nothing against Microsoft. I do kind of hate them in a sense, but at the same time, they treat their guys right. Is the only way to put it.
I worked for them for a year. I know.
I mean, they have something that's called the Microsoft Garage. Basically it's a lab. Their guys can go in and just do whatever they want, and they provide them the tools to do it. And that's how a lot of stuff in Microsoft Office actually came to be. Was guys just goofing off in the lab.
Oh, paperclip.
Yeah, well, I think that's what it ultimately calls it, death of paperclip, thank God. But
Yeah.
we had a guy at work that his nickname was Clippy because he reminded everybody of the paperclip, because he just retained so much information and everything else. He had like a photographic memory, so we all called him Clippy.
Oh, don't insult that little paperclip dude, by the way. I loved him.
Well, he knew everything. That's just it. That's what I'm saying. That's why we called this guy that, because Clippy knew everything. That paperclip dude knew it all.
Well, I mean, I remember a story in the infancy of BBC iPlayer. They'd taken 2.5 years in development. It still wasn't out of testing, and eventually they released it. But they basically changed the head of the development team, and this new guy had a totally different mindset. And one of the first things was it would only work on Internet Explorer. So people wanted it to work obviously with Chrome and Firefox. So somebody managed to make a bit of code that fooled their servers into thinking they were using Internet Explorer. And then the guy then ported it to, what did they port it to? He ported it to the Wii. Now, rather than getting upset with this guy, they offered him a job.
Yeah.
So they basically said, prove to us you wrote the code, and they could prove he wrote the code, and they're like, yep, and you come. And he then became part of the development team, and they then ported it to all the different devices that it's on now, and it's on there enough everything. But they just knew that the old team wouldn't have done that. The old regime would have been, they'd have tried to find a way to block this and stop it, whereas they said, no, bring the guy in. It's like, yeah, this is the kind of guys we want.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, and those are the guys that you want to deal with too. They're the ones that love nothing more than to think outside the box.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're the ones that find the different ways to do it that nobody else might have thought of.
Yeah, because somebody's told them, look, you have to use this browser for this. You can't use another one, and they're like, no, fuck that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, like, look at the development of Kodi, just from like back in the day. Todd, for us, it was like things are a lot different now than they used to be. Things are a lot easier. In the old days, like, I mean, I remember having to jailbreak my Apple TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, I had to code it and stuff, and then a guy came up with a wizard that did it for you, and then it came out with, that went away, every other device was out there, and, people, there weren't wizards everywhere. There was, you built your own, you put it on a USB, or you found another way, or actually, I think NaN had a program where you could put a build in and then port it to something else. And it was like, it just all developed so much.
Even add-ons used to have to just drop it in the folder. You couldn't install it.
Yeah, and everything changes. I mean, it's some for the
Everything
good.
Advances. Yeah, pretty soon we're all going to be out of work.
I mean, when I did, I used to be part of a team. Started out with just a couple guys writing an Ultima Online emulator for the old game from OSI, and they started their own server package for it, so you could run a free server or free shard. And I ended up joining up with the team. I helped them with different things from time to time, and ended up becoming a part of that team back in 2003. And the main reason was because I looked at things completely different than everybody else on the team.
Yeah.
And they knew that, and they knew I could be of help. And that was a monster of a beast as far as the code. It was C++, and that we had the exact same code for different flavors of Linux and Windows, and it was all the same source. It wasn't separate branches or anything as far as the actual source code. And it was a beast. I mean, it took me a little bit to get into it as far as going through the code and learning what was where, but we had several members of the team that ended up coming on for that very reason. They looked at things differently. They had different experiences, and they brought a whole new realm to the table with them. We ended up creating the only, it was almost like a hybrid, Ultima Online and World of Warcraft, because we had instances, or the ability to do instances on their game server in Ultima Online, just like they do in World of Warcraft. And I mean, we really expanded it. And there at one point, we started seeing features showing up on the official Electronic Arts game servers that were in different free servers all across the world, because they started seeing what everybody was wanting, and they started picking things from there.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, the guy that originally came up with this server package, when he left the team, it was because he had to. He signed a non-disclosure with Sony and went to work for Sony on a game engine for them. So I mean, doing that work out there, it may be something you like, you're doing for free. A lot of times them companies will see that.
Well, I know Mid was talking about, Mid's got a background in coding, but it wasn't Python, I don't think. And he's a pretty smart guy, and he can figure stuff out really, and he just gets it, just like you do. For some of us, it's not quite so easy. And it's just neat because he said, you know what, this could potentially be a job for me. He said, this is experience for me. He said, it's fun and I like it, and it's a hobby now, but everything I learn, it could possibly get me a job.
Yeah, and it's the nice thing about open source development is just that. I mean, it's something, the majority of the time, it's something people enjoy doing. And some of them do it for a living, some don't. My experience has been primarily IT since I started working as a teenager, but I've always been into programming. With my last job, that it was kind of a mix, both the support side and also the development side. I've got 2 Outlook add-ons in a Fortune 500 company enterprise system that's used every day, because they pitched what they wanted, and I said, well, yeah, I can do that. And the very next day I had it done, and they're like, wait, what? Because their in-house developers said, there was no way to do it the way I was saying to do it. And technically they were right, but I knew how to get around that block and make it function exactly the way they wanted. So I mean, I've done it some in work, and I'd love to program as far as for my everyday job, but unfortunately around here where I live, yeah, not gonna happen. I'm in West Virginia, so you know, not too much in IT here.
Mountain Mama, take me home. You need to just come on down to North Carolina. Got plenty of jobs down here.
Well,
Yeah. It's like Silicon Valley, isn't it?
He can't get me to go, so he
down in Raleigh.
a second.
Research Triangle Park. It's actually very, very. It's one of the bigger places. It ain't as big as California, the Silicon Valley, but you look up Research Triangle Park. It's got quite a bit of stuff down there.
Yeah, we got too many grandkids in the family here, unfortunately.
Damn anchors.
I was looking at one time with a company for doing development work and admin work on ServiceNow for on a government project. But 99% of my time was going to be spent in DC or that surrounding areas, and I just couldn't do it. I mean, with family and everything here, there's just no way.
There's no way I'd live near DC. Drove through that a couple times. There is no way I'd live there. Never.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's sad part is, you know, I've got family back in Indiana too, but you know, when you're looking at 5 grandkids here and everything else, it's hard to move away from it.
You realize you just totally given away your age there, right?
I'm only 42.
And you have 5 grandkids?
Yeah.
Christ almighty, you started young.
With a
West
6
Virginia.
with a 6
There's nothing else to do.
Have you been through West Virginia before, my dear?
There's a reason.
Is that like country?
Luckily, I'm originally from Indiana until I was in my 30s.
Oh, that's when it all started.
Well, you know.
Honestly, when I've drove through West Virginia, you know, my main thought is, where the hell do these people work? Because the cities are not close,
Nope.
and you're up on these mountains, and it's like, how long would it take someone to get to work? You'd have to work remote, and do they even have good internet? How do they? It just amazes me that so many people. Well, you know, there's people living there. Where do they work? Is this where they retired because they got rich somewhere else, and they're like, it don't cost me much to live in West Virginia? I mean, it amazes me when you're driving through certain places, and I always think, where do people work? And
Yeah, exactly. You either drive forever and a day, or it's close to minimum wage out in the outskirts.
Yeah.
It's about the only way to put it, and it sucks. Ass is the only way to put it. I mean, you know, especially for someone with my background in IT and everything else, because you've got all these other people here that went to college for IT, and now you've got like 5,000 people trying to get 150 jobs.
Yeah, I wanted to pause you there for 1 sec. By the way, I'm answering for Roger. He wanted to know about Big Ladnick, Cerebro. I said I like him, but I'm going to tell you why I like him just very quickly. Because I had problems with his repo. I contacted him, and this is even before we started the list. And, you know, he listened to what I had to say to him. He cleaned up his repo, and he's now really particular about how his repo is. That's just my opinion. So I have a
Big Lad you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of him through Dabs. Dabs says he's a good guy.
Yeah, I like him.
Oh, and by the way, Todd, they work at Walmart. That's what Alan said.
yeah, I saw that. But there's not even close Walmarts. I mean, I'm telling you, you're driving, and it's like drive, and there's like nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
exactly.
It's like,
Yeah, they're
hell?
only around like the Capitol in Huntington, or the Walmart's remotely close together.
Yeah, I've been through Huntington, and Huntington's like, it's like you're partly driving on a damn side of a mountain. Some of those highways.
Yeah,
that was where I was driving through. I was driving through, coming back from Indiana one time, but just last time, and there was a guy walking down the middle of the street, going south. And I mean, I'm walking just down the middle of that damn interstate, and you're on the side of a mountain. I mean, it's probably 4 lanes on each, going each direction. So I mean, it's not like you're at the edge, and he's just walking, and I'm thinking, that guy's gonna get himself hit. And just walking along. I don't know if he was drunk or what, but it really kind of worried me because I'd hate to see somebody get run over at 65 miles an hour. But
Well, that definitely tells me you're around Huntington, because everywhere else just about in the state at 70.
it was right there. It was right there as you're coming down the mountain, because you're kind of coming down, and your Huntington's there on your right.
Yeah. The sad part is, and people just kind of looked at me funny because, you know, me being from Indiana, they think, oh, well, that's all flat. Not southern Indiana. Southern Indiana is, especially if you go down 64 across the south side of Indiana. Hell, you'll drive on a upward hill for 20 minutes.
Hey, Todd.
Yes.
What he doesn't want to tell you is that was him walking down the highway.
No, it was probably my neighbor, though. That wouldn't surprise me. But
there's Miss
I
A
look a
Train.
little bit farther in.
A Train's in the chat over there.
I just sent her a link.
So we got any more topics we need to cover?
I got a question, and I don't know with why Cerebro has the HD. Why Spins got HD, strictly HD. It was given to Spins, but then Cerebro had Cerebro's strictly HD.
He's also got a cartoon one, doesn't he?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. To me, I'm like, do you really need to do that? if someone else is already doing it, well, what are you doing? And if you're going to do it, and you're like, well, I'm going to clone it, or I'm going to, fork it, change the name.
Were these some APK stuff?
No.
It's all about the forking.
Who was it? I can't remember who it was that created strictly HD.
Lucifer.
Lucifer.
Yeah.
And then he quit, and he gave it to Spins, and Spins took it, and it's Spins strictly HD or HD strictly. And then I noticed when I was on the Cerebro repo, I saw that, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's here.
And I was thinking he did the cartoon one. If he did at one point, he no longer is doing it. I don't see it on there. So
Yeah, but if you're going to fork something, bring something new to the party. Like
Or change the name.
Yeah, well, at very least,
three
No,
kids, the name is the same.
Yeah.
That's the issue, though, Todd. Is lots of times people hoping to get popular because people recognize the name.
True. I mean, but it's just, I don't know. To me, it's not about popular. It's just like are you useful? And if you're useful, people will find you and people will use you.
It's true too.
And to be honest, you don't want to be the biggest and most popular add-on.
Oh, you
In
don't.
my opinion, but you don't want to be that. I don't want to be the biggest, loudest, waving a flag.
Yeah.
No, because you're the first one that gets smacked.
Yeah, you're on Adam's snitch list.
Yeah, he's been over there sending me DMs.
Yeah.
Can we talk?
really, he's sending
talk?
you DMs, huh?
Can we talk?
Oh,
Talk to
I don't have.
Yeah, it starts.
I
It
don't.
starts with fuck and it ends with off.
I don't know why Nan has such a problem with me. We haven't talked about you in months, dude. Go away.
like a bad penny, just keeps coming back to the surface. But you know what? Hey, knock yourself out.
Yeah, have fun.
No problems.
I don't.
Definitely like a penny. He's in everybody's pants.
I don't.
Hey, wait. Sorry, go ahead, Teverz.
I was gonna say I don't have a problem with Adam because he's blocked me in every way he could block me. Now I'm good.
Okay, but I have been hearing issues about the URL browser or the GitHub browser there. What's going on with that? People are having issues because it's just downloading just the add-on and not the repo. Is that what's going on?
I don't know.
I don't use it.
That's kind of the goal of it, from what I understand. It's a place to give you,
Because
but here's the
I
thing.
saw Blamo today talking about that, and he said there was a guy who was telling him an issue he had, and he's going, that looks like the exact same issue a few other people have had, and it was because of the Git browser.
Well, yeah, and that's just it. They're installing the add-on without the browser, so they're not going to get updates. And unless they go in and manually check, they'll never get an update, from my understanding.
So what's the point then?
They're like, well, now you can do this without, developers, if they don't have a repo. Well, here's the thing: 99% of them do. The only one, and the ones that don't, will. They eventually do one. And the sad part is, why make a GitHub browser when that's where you're going to get most of them to begin with. You know, they're already on there. So all you're doing is trying to point them to use you as that unofficial repo again, rather than the official repo. And to me, that's what it boils down to. Because, a lot of them that are on there, they have repos. So why would you want to do that? Why would you go there and download it from where the repo is without the repo?
Yeah.
Well, and I think one of his things is that he said that you didn't have to join a team, you didn't have to join a group, which I think is a great idea. I don't think you should have to join. Yeah. I mean, I've never been.
Shouldn't all be under one banner, no.
Yeah, I never said that. Hey, I think everybody should join Noobs and Nerds. I think everyone should join this group or that group. I'm for diversity. I'm for you be in as many different places and as small groups as possible is the best. So. One of his things is that you didn't have to join one of those groups. So to me, you can create a repo on your own. You can be your own person. And I didn't realize that it didn't install the repo, but if you installed the repo, then you'd be good to go. But then it still goes back to some of what we've talked about in the past is a repo is a very powerful tool that you've allowed onto your device. Yep. And allowing this tool on your device, you have opened the door, you have given the keys to somebody and said, you know what, I trust you enough. You can come on my device anytime you want. You've given these keys to someone, and anybody can send they can send a lot of things can be sent via that repo. So installing lots of repos and repos you don't know, it's like walking around town handing your keys to people, and you could hand your keys out to 50 people, and guess what, those 50 people will never try to come in your door. Handed the keys to that 51st person, you go to work and come home and everything's gone because that guy said, well, thanks for the keys to your place. I came on in, tore everything up, took what I wanted, and left you in a shambles when you came home. So be careful of repos. Be very careful of what repos you use. Yep. And when a repo, when somebody leaves the scene, delete the repo.
Yep.
Get rid of it. When you say when Covenant left, the first thing you need to do when Covenant closed shop, get rid of the repo. Because it's gonna come along and kind of
pick it up and do whatever they want with it.
Now, I do want to point something out because I just hit something I seen for the first time yesterday. Who is it? Cody Tips is pushing out a Colossus repo that is listed as broken. So, and it's a high version number. To keep other people, it's to kill off the one out there that is being used almost like a super repo, kind of like Codil.
Okay.
And I don't know why they decided to do that, but I seen that just yesterday. Let me see if I still got it on my dev install. And install from repo. I must have deleted it, I think. Yeah, because I don't see it on there. If you went in and looked under my add-ons, I bet that's where it's going to be at. Yep, Colossus repo, and instead of saying enabled or disabled, it says broken. And the information under it's Colossus stop info, and it gives you a link to a codytips.com web address.
See, is there an issue too? Okay, so in the event that this Git browser thingy got changed and it was grabbing the whole repo instead, now are you not having an issue though, like where you do grab one guy's repo and you know how he's piggybacked a bunch of other repos? Is that not going to be an issue too? Because then he can taint them with his stuff. Like, you know what I mean? You think you're getting original repo, but you're not.
Yeah, and that's kind of some of the ones that we've been pointing out on the repo list. Now there's a difference between linking like TVA's URL Resolver repo. There's a difference between linking that and someone going out there and making a repo that's nothing but a bunch of links to other people's stuff, and then one day they decide, you know what, I'm going to throw something of mine in there. Now that people are trusting this, and it's going to do something that people don't want. And you know, another thing to hit on what Mitch had in his video. You know, people talk about malicious code, blah blah blah. You know, that this never happened. Yeah, it has.
Yeah, it has.
There's developers out there that have used code for malicious intent, and I'm not talking about just installing an unwanted add-on or removing one. And he got busted. You can do searches on Google and everything and find this. It's not something that was swept under the rug. That has happened before.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's it. He doesn't do his research.
You know what the problem is too, though, is that back in the day, a lot of times some of this malicious code had a good intention. You know, there was some guy who came along who was stealing other people's lists. So people that had those lists said, screw this, I'm going to put a block code in. But then other people take the block code and then start using it to block people that aren't bad people. Do you know what I mean? Like it just sort of, it turned into a really bad, it was a good intention, but then it just turned sideways.
Well, yeah, because, you know, you can't have nice things.
Well, you know how it is. You'd like to trust that everybody's on their best behavior here, but there are people out there that don't have good intentions.
Yeah, and I've said this openly before, and I'll repeat it now. When I first started to work on Pro Sport and then eventually forked it, there was I seen the code in there for that TVA had put in there to block other add-ons and repos, and I flipped it to do it to theirs and added Codil and a few others to it, but I never activated it. The code's still there. If you, I mean, you know, and it's kind of funny that when Carnage did all his blocks and did that Sports Hub fork called Nightmare Sports, if you looked at that code, it was the same code.
Yeah.
And the sad part is, you know, and that was probably one of the, back from like you're mentioning, when one of the first ones did that. It wasn't malicious. It didn't, just like with what Carnage originally did, it didn't come up and uninstall other add-ons. It just said, hey, we're not compatible, stop doing this. And that was it. But others out there have used it to modify files, to delete other add-ons, you know, that wasn't theirs. Things like that, just because, you know, that the only way to put it is they were a dick.
Yeah.
Because there's no other reason to do it, to be honest. I mean, you know, people, they're, especially in Cody community today with builds, you know, people's going to use what they want to use. And just like when, you know, a lot of people now are starting to do the whole pin century and all that, and they're getting removed from a lot of builds, the ones that do that. You know, and I ain't taking a crack at the guys that put the pins in there, like Boom and all them. I'm not. But, you know, a lot of people don't want it, and they have the option to remove it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they're putting something in there that says, you know, if I'm in this build or this add-on's in there, you can't use me. They're just do it kind of like the OL pairing. They're saying, you know, every 4 hours you need to pair up. You know, and if you don't like it, don't use it.
Exactly. That's why we'll never go pin on any of our stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be honest, if I was to ever do it, I wouldn't do it that way. I would, you know, make it an option off by default. You know, if you want to give back, hey, here, and do it.
Yeah.
We had a couple questions, and there was one about, is APKs the way of the future? Eagle One had asked that. I think the benefit of APKs, and any family member that I set up a box for, I install Terrarium, I put FreeFlix, because it's simple. Now they will have an ad, and but you know what? It's going to work, and it's going to work very easily for them to figure out, and it auto updates. It's simple, so it is a way that can be the future, and it can be beneficial. It does also brings money to the developer that created it, whereas Cody, unless you're doing a pin or donation links, these developers aren't really making any money. And server costs, if you have a large server that's getting hit hard, it can be expensive. But so these devs that are doing APKs are actually benefiting because people are watching and they get the ads, they make the money from the ads, they can pay for a server, they can stay in front of their growth, almost like Real to Brid does. You can stay in front of it.
Well,
So
if it's paying them, they have the time to upkeep them.
yes. So it's good and bad. To me, I don't like the ads. I like more functions that Kodi gives. I saw some people talking about the library function in Kodi, which I think is one of the greatest functions in Kodi that people just don't even use. They don't realize that the library is there. So it doesn't have that. It does. You can add it to favorites. Yes, you can. But so
not the same though.
There is some benefits to those APKs. And one of the guys, Stu, asked me what happened to Droid Buddy. I shut down Droid Buddy 2. I took on Droid Buddy 2 when the developer that created Droid Buddy didn't want to do it any longer. And I said, I don't want to see it go. And so I said, well, hey, I'll put it on my server. I'll take care of the URL. I'll take care of the text files and the XMLs and do all that. Yeah, and I did that for a little while. And it lost its flavor a little bit. And I was going through some other stuff that was happening on the personal side, so I wasn't keeping up with it as well as I should have, because I just didn't have the interest in Kodi or anything, really. I had things going on. And I got a little bit behind on it. And then all of this cease and desist letter and all these people supposedly getting busted. And I really had to step back and look at, did I want to risk, which I was already going through some issues on my personal life, did I want to risk possibility of a legal civil action against me because I am offering links, because I wasn't hosting the APKs, but I was offering links to these APKs so that you could watch these things. Did I want to do that? And the server was in my name. I don't hide who I am. I mean, really, if you want to know who I am, it ain't gonna take you long before you can figure me out. I'm very transparent. I mean, it's me. And so I had to stop and think about, did I want to continue that? And I shut it down. I got rid of the XMLs. I said, and I posted on some of the videos, hey, it's been pulled. And it's funny because people don't even read the title of the video. The Droid Buddy video that told you how to install it, I changed the title to has been pulled. And then in the show notes, I said, I have discontinued it. It's no longer going to work. And I still get people that will comment in the show, in the notes, comments. I opened it and it does nothing opens. It's blank. I'm thinking, you came to my video, but you didn't read the title and you didn't read anything in the show notes, especially the first line that says it's discontinued.
I'm going to hazard a guess that those viewers are from America.
I bet you some of them are. So yeah, that's the reason why Droid Buddy's done. Now I will say.
Oh wait, hold on. Is trademark from America? Probably is.
Trademark is American. Yeah.
But I will say that there is some people that have talked to me about Droid Buddy. The developer of Droid Buddy, he still likes to tinker with the code. It's possible that Droid Buddy would come out in another form, or it's possible. If it does, and if the guy wants to be a video, I will make a video to show where to get it, because to be honest, I loved it for my own self. I loved to use it, and that was why I took on Droid Buddy 2. I loved to install it, and guess what? I got all the APKs I wanted by installing the one. So it may come back, but I won't be maintaining it because it's not worth it if you get somebody knocking on your door with a.
Okay, I got a question for you guys. Now, we talk about Kodi and we talk about the possibility of malicious code in the add-ons. Same thing can happen with APKs, right? I mean,
oh, definitely.
Allowing somebody access to your box.
Definitely, it definitely can happen. I wrote, and this is why I said really. By the way, Todd, I wrote an APK called Media Box Wizard. All right, and same thing as Droid Buddy. It's used to install APKs, and it was written in, I know there's certain limits within JavaScript, Java and all that, but Media Box Wizard was written purely in C# and .NET. And Visual Studio converts that over for the Android platform. And so, take that into account. A person can take whether it's written in C#, whether it's written in Java, or any other language, doesn't matter. If they give it the right permissions and you don't pay attention to them on install, you can be giving someone way more access than they need to your box.
Well, you think about it, but a lot of people have, well, some people won't, but a lot of people have the proper Google account on the box.
Yeah, exactly.
Possibly linked to a credit card.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's where you have to make sure you're getting stuff from correct sources and
trusted places,
or trusted sources. Yeah, because like with the APKs, there's a lot of modified APKs out there too. Every time Terrarium does an update, somebody snags it, they modify the crap out of it, and they release 2 or 3 other versions. It happens all the time, and that's why when I could, every single one I put on MediaBox Wizard, it was the ones from those the original devs, because if you can't trust the original devs, then you don't even need to be putting it on there.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And also by doing that, you're going to get the automatic updates, because the ones that are modified, the automatic updates usually break on those. So by doing that, it was twofold. It was giving it, straight props to the original developers. You're going to have the ads for the original developers, not a modified one. And when it got the auto updates, it was going to update regardless.
Wow, there's silence. What happened?
I don't know.
Todd must have fell asleep.
In a small way, it's kind of nice instead of us just talking over each other.
I'm hearing it. But by the way, Todd, the first time I ever talked to you was about Droid Buddy, and I had asked you if I had your permission to make a video on it.
What I liked about it, your video, you did a video and you linked it to my website, and you linked all the right stuff and didn't try to pull it to your repo or to your server where there was several big YouTube guys. All the big YouTube guys directed it to their server. Now they got the zip and they put it on their server, and that's where they did it. And I mean, there was 3 big YouTubers, and you can go and look at their Droid Buddy video and look at how many hundreds of thousands of views they had, and they directed everyone back to their server or their website. And that one of them did it to their website, and it really made me mad, because I'm like, so and this was the other thing that made me mad about it. In there we had info. You could click on the info, and I gave thanks to the guy that created it. I gave thanks to some of the guys that had offered and allowed me to link Droid Buddy to their website where they had APKs hosted. And so I gave thanks, and I pointed them to my website, which has no ads. And I just said, if you have problems, go there and let us know what the issues are so that we have a forum, and just post something there. And it bothered me that the one YouTuber went through and he actually said, oh, news and info, who cares about that? And went to every other box that was on Droid Buddy. Every single box, he opened it, and then took the zip of Droid Buddy and stuck it way down the bottom of his webpage, which had numerous ads. And to me, that, again, when we talked about bad YouTubers or what bugs you, that to me said, And I actually even approached him and spoke to him, and it bothered me, because I'm like, you won't even give credits to the guys that created this. You're not even going to say, hey, these are the people that created it. This is where you can get some information about this particular APK. You're not going to talk about that, but you're going to then put the APK on your website and bury it down below 8 or 10 ads. So someone has to go through 8 or 10 ads down your page before they can get to that one APK they want to download.
So that sounds to me like it could be one of two people, at least from my own viewing. And that's either Demi or Smash.
Yeah. And so I actually approached him because I know him. And I know him, and I was pissed. And him and I still haven't been as good as friends as we used to be because of that. Because I'm like, you know, it was like to me, especially when he says news and information, who cares about that?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exact words, but we're going to open every other window. And I'm thinking, you don't want people to know where they can get it without having to go to your website.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the only reason why you don't open that window.
Yeah, that's one thing that Teverz knows that irks me. You know, and he loves the feature, you know, where I put the news and updates on in pretty much everything I do. And every video outside of his and mine that I've seen on my work, everybody skips it. They don't even mention it. You know, it's like it doesn't even exist.
Lordy.
I'm just going through Cerebro's new update to his repo as you guys talk. Keep going, by the way.
He's doing a repo check.
You want to know the truth? I've really been enjoying, you know, helping to maintain that repo naughty and nice list, because like it's even taught me more about repos. You know, like when I was speaking to the guys from Gaia or Gaia, however you pronounce that, and I asked them why they had, you know, they had things like URL Resolver, and they had a whole pile of like the dependencies that Cody had in it. But the truth is that they had older versions, so I wasn't worried about it. But you know, these guys explained to me, it's like, so there are forks out there that don't have this Cody repo in it, and this is just to ensure it works on there. And I'm like, I never understood that. So, you know, I judge repos differently now. So
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, it's, you know, everything's a learning experience. I mean, you know, just like when I started on my add-ons and forking and everything, it was all a learning experience with all of it. Yeah, I screwed up several times. You know, we all do, especially when you're first getting started. It happens, and most people just lay down the judge hammer. Say you're trying to take over the world, things like that, and they leave it at that. You know, they don't bother to take time to say, hey, you know, why you say what, you know, why this or that, and then tell you why. They just immediately, you know, lay down their own.
You know what's funny is if you're honest and if you're a nice person, I'll promote you everywhere. I don't care if you're NaN, doesn't matter to me. But if you're a dishonest person, I won't watch your stuff, and you know what? I sure as shit I'm not going to be promoting you.
No, exactly. And it's, I mean, the sad part is it seems like I do more live streams now than I do regular videos. But anymore, majority of my stuff is all the settings and stuff like that. And to do them type of videos, you have to do the research. And there's been a few of them that I've done in the past where I had to go to the guys and be like, hey, you know, there's something I'm missing that they can click here. Can you help me out?
Well, I'm amazed you even have time to do YouTube videos, to be honest, with all the stuff you're doing in Cody.
Well, exactly, and then you take the fact that, you know, I'm only doing like one a week now. You know why? I'm not doing 3 or 4 a day. And there was someone that commented on my rant video earlier today that let's see here. Let me find the exact one. Oh yeah, guy named Donnell. He said he was so glad they came across Teverz and my channel. Loves the education and everything that he gets from it, and you know, he used to watch a lot of the others out there, and he can tell, and his thing is trending where, you know, you can tell they're for the money, because when someone posts 2, 3, and at times 4 videos a day, you know that's all that they're after is the revenue.
Well, and I mean, think about it logically too, in that these guys that have all these huge numbers or whatever, and they make all these videos, 1 million videos a day, aren't actually involved in coding. They're not. They're not coders. They're not anything except YouTubers.
Yeah, and all they're doing
Guys
is
are
either seeing
videos
content
and-
from other people, or
Yeah, see,
they're
sorry.
just making stuff up. Well, like certain ones that we've seen.
Exactly.
Where
Where like when you do a video, you made it. So you know how it works.
Yeah.
You know that it's not killing RD, for Christ's sakes.
Exactly.
When I did that NaN scraper video I did on helping to tweak the settings for each individual, you know, I pointed it out, you know, as far as going back in, you know, if you're not seeing them, try going back in. And I mean, if you're going to do a video, do it right. I mean, make sure that you understand it before you do it. Don't just jump in there and be like, hey, check this out. Click, click, click. You know,
see, but the issue is that they're not taking the time because they want to be the first one to have the drama out there. And, you know, heaven forbid they'd actually look into it, because there's 3 other videos made on it before they get a chance to.
Yeah, exactly. And so many of them, they may not talk like it, but they remind me of boon hires. Like, just click, 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 out of the internet porn, man. And it's like 90% about that.
Yeah. I mean, you can watch these people's videos and take it with a grain of salt, or you can talk to the people who are actually making the add-ons to get the real story behind it. Don't talk to me because I don't make any add-ons.
I was about to say, like, honestly, Blue, like, I truthfully, every time, almost every video I've ever made is I've usually almost always talked to the dev. Like, I wanted to know what they wanted me to show. Like, so, you know, I might not be a developer. I mean, I know I work on my own wizard, but I'm not really a developer. But it's always been passionate for me that, you know, the dev, you know, gets with the point out there. And personally, I feel that's what a lot of YouTubers should do. Okay, maybe they're not a dev, but take the time to find out.
Yeah, to talk to one. Or, you know what the big one for me is? How about you look in the settings? Why don't you see what the add-on can actually do besides trying a link? Like, I mean, there's a million different settings in all our add-ons that basically, you know, you can do all kinds of cool stuff in there, but people don't know about it. And these YouTubers don't take the time to even look in their own settings to be able to fill people in on it.
And the sad part is, even some of them, and I'm not going to say all of them that do take that time, not all of them are even understanding what they do. I mean, perfect case in point, NaN Scrapers is trying to take over URL Resolver. What? No.
Yeah, that is just complete. For anybody out there that just heard that, that is completely wrong.
Exactly. They're 2 completely different machines.
Different add-ons, yeah, exactly.
They do completely different
plugins.
This guy has no idea how wrong that is.
I can't remember. I think actually it was Strictly HD and Lucifer's where I did the video, and 99% of the time I always do the settings, and I distinctly remember that I forgot to do the settings in this video, and whatever dev it was, and I think it was Lucifer, he came back and like messaged me like 2 minutes later. It's like, you didn't do the settings. I had to delete the video and restart it all over again. So it was like, but he made a good point.
You just capped it, filmed another little section of it, and then thrown it on the end?
No, see, usually when I'm finished doing, like when I take it into Adobe and create it all, I usually delete all the videos that went into it, and yeah, so I had to redo it.
Well, see, with Real to Brid, you install the Chrome add-on, you could have re-downloaded your video, boom, there you go.
All that work down the drain for nothing.
Well, you know, that was one of the reasons, like when I did some series like the Metallic series, it was 5 videos on Metallic, because I wanted to talk about certain aspects of it. I didn't want to just. I did one. The very first video was like the overall, and then break down. This is what this is, and then the next part was this is what this is, and because that's, to me, it's what people want to learn. But I'll be honest with you. If you look at the video, the views that I get on a lot of those videos, most people don't want that much information. Maybe you want that information, Tantrum, but most users don't want that much information. They want to know how, if I click it, does it work? Okay, that's all they want to know. And does it look pretty?
See, but that's what's sad about it, though. Like, especially when it came to Metallic, is that it had so many capabilities that if you tweaked it, you could have an amazing setup. You know what I mean? But people just kept it plain, and they'd be like, yeah, I don't see the point of it. Yeah, because you're not using it right.
Yeah, it had tracked. That was one of those early ones that had tracked. You know, people were bitching when Elysium didn't have tracked. Like, oh, why Elysium have tracked? And went on and on and on about that. And we're like, well, just link it into Metallic, and that already has tracked. Yeah. And then you could use your Elysium.
How dare you?
And it's like it's there if you.
See, the thing that I loved about Metallic is that, like, I always would set a specific add-on for my default. But I like that you could context menu and bring up the other ones. So if you found a series that for whatever reason NaN scrapers didn't have, you know, you could go and use Placenta or whatever, like within a click. Like you didn't have to go all the way back out of the add-on and then go over to Placenta and open it and then try to find what you're looking for or whatever. You could instantly use Placenta, pull it. Oh, hey, they do have links. You know, that's what was neat about it.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got a request for Placenta.
Uh-oh.
Because all right, so you're basing Placenta's based off the Exodus Covenant template, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you go to add to your library, it's creating a folder within the user data folder, I guess, for TV shows. And when it adds to that library, its user has to go in and manually add that path as a video library path and then scan it as a TV show for that folder.
Yep.
If I'm wondering how hard it would be, and I know like Extended Info does it. It takes that and just, well, Metallic, I should say Metallic does it. It just makes the folder. It makes the folder and it makes Cody see it as a TV show folder and a movies folder. And I don't know how much coding, but I know that because someone posted earlier in the show, says Placenta has a library function, but I don't know where it goes. Well, I do. It makes a folder, and it makes a TV folder, and it puts that number inside that little folder. But if you don't tell Cody that the direct path to Placenta user, I guess it's user data, I believe, TV shows, and then say what content is inside that folder, because you can either be music, TV, or movie. You have to tell it TV show and say, do you want it to automatically scan? You say yes. Now,
so you're hoping it could do like a Metallic thing where it makes its own folders and automatically
I don't know. I'm just saying, I know Placenta, that's the way that Placenta does it. When you click add to library, it makes that folder, but Cody doesn't see that unless the user goes through the old school steps of adding it
to the library.
Yep, they have to add to the library and set the content.
So what are you looking at?
And you have to do that every time, or just the first time? Like the first to be added.
The first you have to do it manually. You just have to add that folder, the main folder, the TV folder.
So once the folder's added, though, every movie added after that. Okay.
Yeah, because before Metallic, that's how we all did it when we did builds. If you had a
Todd, let me handle this. Tantrum, it's impossible and you can't do it. Okay.
look, the cord has been cut. Okay.
That was a good one. It's gonna be done tomorrow. You know that. He's not sleeping tonight.
You can't do it.
Well, look. All right. Now, basically, so what you're wanting is when you set up the download folders for. Well, hold on.
Not the download. When you add to the library, because you know when you go into Placenta, you can context a TV show. You pull up the context menu. It has add to the library, and when you click it, it says added to the library. It tells you it did. And if now I haven't done it, but I know that the old Exodus did it. It created a folder inside the add-on, and I think it was the user data folder. It created a folder that said TV shows, and anything you added went to that. Now Metallic does that. Metallic does the same steps. Inside Metallic, it has a TVs folder and it puts all the shows in there. But somehow Metallic just tells Cody, "Hey, this is when you're looking for the content. I guess it sets the path and sets the content to a TV show or a movie, depending on which folder."
Okay, hold on a second, Todd. Didn't Genesis have library integration? It did, didn't it? And then Lambda took it out in Exodus.
Yes, he took it out in Exodus.
Well, if somebody has an old Genesis, the code's in there.
Well, now, okay, and by the way, you are correct. It puts it under add-on data, user data, add-on data, plugin.video.placenta, because I just did it to a TV show.
Yep.
Sets it all up there.
Yep.
And
but you gotta, but see what you have to do is, because again, this is the old way you used to. You have to go through and set the content as a TV show, and you got to go add a source. I think you add a source in the file manager.
It's like when you go into the files folder.
Yeah, you go to file manager.
It's the same way when you add local content.
Yes,
it's exactly the same way. Yeah.
So once you set that folder as a TV, and you say, "Hey, and it would then anytime someone added to." Once a user does it, and if you set that folder to TV shows, a person would use, and anytime they added a TV show to that folder, it's going to see it and it would add it to the Kodi library. But for some reason, and I don't know how Q does it to where, because you ever notice, like if you install Metallic and you do run the setup, it goes through and sets up the folders, and it says movies
folder, one, a movie one, yeah.
It sets it up. And at that point, it must set the content in the path for you to say this is a TV folder and this is a movie folder, so that when you add to anything to that, Kodi says, "Oh, that folder is a TV folder," because you can have multiple TV folders. I used to do it with Salts. I would do a link for Salts, Specto, and Exodus.
And you can set up the information source and all that. I'm walking through doing it now myself, so that I know what you're talking about.
It's just more steps back in the old days. And I just noticed that with Placenta, I thought that it would automatically do it, and it's like when it said added to library and it didn't do nothing, I didn't find it, and I'm like, oh, I know what it did. It put it in that user data folder.
Yep. And I'm sitting here, like I said, walking through it now, because what I may end up doing is looking at using I don't know, coming up with some way to automate that process where it automatically adds it for the first time that you do it.
Yeah. I still remember when Lambda made Exodus, when he dropped Genesis and he made it, and remember we were all complaining and we're like where did the library function go? He kind of figured, because Genesis was kind of getting too big, that if he dumbed down Exodus, that less people would use it. But that sort of just backfired.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, there's Diamond says, what's it? System, library videos. Yeah. I think
it's like Griff said, it's like adding local content, and then you set the movie and you set the TV or.
Yeah. I remember I had to do it with my builds. I would do it for Salt, Specto, and Exodus. And the problem is a lot of times when you would back it up, when you'd zip it, it would lose it. It wouldn't set the content anymore. And it was like, the paths were there, but it didn't know what a TV folder was and which was a movie folder. So then when people would add, they're like, well, I'm adding TV shows and it's not put into my library. And then I'd look and I'm like, oh man, why did the content get reset?
Well, I remember in the old days, the fun part about the library was as soon as you added a movie, if you were using Confluence, popped up right away.
Yeah.
Yep. So that may be something to add to my list.
Yeah. Put it right on the top there.
It's cool. It's just a cool feature. I just happened to see it today, and
I'm a huge fan of the library too.
Because all my friends are like, "Oh, I just add that TV show to my favorites." I'm like,
Yeah, it's too messy.
Don't do it.
And you don't get the artwork the same, and you know what I mean. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
Like the posters and everything. I love that part.
Yep. And let me look here real quick at something that I just did. Oh God. Yep. Death Streams does it too.
Yeah. See that? Yeah, because like I used to have to set the content, because you see it when it creates that folder, it just sits there, and Kodi doesn't know that folder's there.
Yeah, exactly. So
well, I guess it knows. I guess it knows it's there. It just doesn't know that.
Hey, Todd.
Yes.
You got any more work for him?
I'm an ideas guy.
You are the ideas guy, that's for sure. You always have been.
And by the way, it just a heads up, Placenta update that's coming out. I figured out a way around to fix B&W movies.
Nice, I saw that actually in the chat.
Just use Google. Just do the Google UK search we've been doing for some of the sites.
Nice.
Because I think they did it because of the scrapers is why they're making those changes. So anytime I notice a site anymore, if their search goes down a lot, I just turn around and switch it over to Google, because it's half your scrapers the exact same code that way. I'm actually debating making a module for it in Placenta, and just calling it into that module for most of that work, because I've got like 4 or 5 scrapers now that half of the scrapers the exact same code.
So are there any other groups out there that are doing scrapers that we know of?
Aside from the people that are maintaining the forks, I mean, you got Cerebro who's maintaining his with what is it, Cerebro Showbox, I think that's a fork.
Now are they maintaining the scrapers or just renaming other people's work?
Cerebro's doing maintaining. I've seen some of his where
always so good to hear.
Show up. So yeah, he's definitely adding some new ones. I've seen some on his that I haven't seen in any other forks.
That's good.
So he's definitely doing that. Incursion, I don't know if they're copying me. I think Incursion is making their own, actually, now that I mention it, because they've added Beautiful Soup as a Beautiful Soup as a dependency, because several of their scrapers have started using Beautiful Soup.
Mid loves Beautiful Soup.
Yep, and I've looked at some of them and I'm like, why go through all this? Just boom, do it this way. But everybody's got their own views and everybody's got their own way of doing things. So
yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that was J-Surge in here. My bad. Hey, Joe.
Yep.
I enjoyed talking to him. He's a great guy.
Joseph.
I'm just saying I enjoyed talking to him. He's a great guy. Like him.
He and I didn't start off so well, but I think we're good now.
I've been told I didn't start off great with a lot of people, and well, one person told me that, but you know.
Yeah.
How much?
I think I'm just misunderstood.
Oh no! It wasn't you. It was
No, I just mean in general why I tend to put people off sometimes.
No, you're not misunderstood.
So if Jay Sergio's in here, hey, at least that his tweet has kind of lost its flavor, because I was going to say, could he untag me so I don't get every notification every time someone responds to it? I had I said one thing and then I got 60 messages a day. It's like, oh my God, my phone's blowing up. But quiet it down now. So
maybe we shouldn't be talking about him in here. I don't think he wants us talking about him in the videos.
Oh, there you can't talk about it.
Sorry about that. Mr. What's Your Face?
First rule of J. Sergio.
Well, guys,
I'm just gonna
Fight Club rules.
Didn't bother joining.
So, is there anything else we need to cover? I mean, we've been on here for 2 hours ago. You guys. I mean, I love you guys, but we could talk forever. I know.
Yeah, every show we do gets longer and longer, and that last Sunday's was 2 hours, and yet we're hitting it 2 hours again tonight.
Hopefully, people got some information. This Mitch guy, if he continues on with this crap, please unfollow him, because he's giving you wrong information.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that we quote unquote dislike him, hate him, or anything else. It's just flat.
I don't even know
giving the wrong info.
I'll be honest. I hadn't heard of him until Teverz started talking about him. So I kind of watch it because for the same reason I look at a car crash on the motorway. You know, I want to see the carnage.
It's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is going, but I can't look away. No.
Yeah.
So I blame Teverz. I blame him because he's the one who brought it on.
When I've been stuck in traffic for half an hour, I want to see the bodies. Could you bring bodies up to the car?
Just to be clear to people out there, NaN doesn't want to take over the world.
No.
URL Resolver and NaN scrapers are two completely different things that work in conjunction with each other.
Do work in conjunction.
What else is there? NaN does not kill RD.
No.
And what else did he say? He had something else in there that was wrong.
Bob does not kill your dog.
No, Bob just
No, Bob doesn't harm the dog.
Bob just molests your mother.
Solus is not carnage.
Oh yeah, that's the other one. Solus is not carnage, and leave him alone. He's got enough on his plate right now without people hassling him.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so that's pretty well all we covered today, then, right?
I just summed it up for you there, Teverz. You're welcome.
Yeah, we didn't even get on the subject of alcohol or weed on this show.
And barely any puppies talk. Thank God for that.
What puppies?
Or sandwiches.
The puppies is the after show party.
Yeah. Yeah. So
We'll hang out after the live feed stops.
yeah, I was gonna say that, you know, Blue treats us after we turn the live off. Yeah. Those are some they were really nice puppies you showed the other day. I'm just letting you know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you'd like those.
Oh yeah. All right.
Carnage thinks that he's lambda.
What?
You see that Sergio says that Carnage thinks that he's lambda.
Oh God.
No.
That's okay.
I don't even talk to him. I don't talk to him, but I don't know. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
I was like, let's not get on that other subject.
Anybody else got some final words? I mean, Blue got hers in there. We should have let her go last, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah,
guys,
I can't think of
be
anything.
safe out there.
Not that I've covered in a rant video or already covered on a live show already. Give me a day or two, though.
Okay. Well, Sunday show's coming. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what about you, Griff? Anything?
No, nothing repeatable anyway.
So,
Nothing you can say in public.
Butch, you?
No, nothing for me. I've said one or two words on this show, so that's
One or two million, but I mean,
Hey, Teverz, welcome to our world.
oh, you guys are, trust me, I love you guys. All right, so then we're just going to wrap it up, finally off what Blue said. Blue said, Mitch's videos are misinformed. You guys should probably unsubscribe. And
If he continues.
the NaN team is trying to take over the world, not Cody. They love Cody. They would not hurt Cody, but they are thinking about taking over the world together. But,
There you go.
and
I gotta develop my evil laugh.
the URL Resolver and the NaN scrapers are two separate things, and at times work together. Especially if you're hard. Little boys in the sandbox have their moments, yeah. But other than that, hopefully, guys, you guys out there, you've got your answers. Any other questions, put them in the comments down below. I'll get back to those. If not, I'll pass them off to anybody else that you need to pass that off. And then, so I'll let everybody say goodbye now.
Goodbye.
Now.
Goodbye now.
bye-bye.
Such an ass.
Y'all have a good day.
Oh, jeez.